Greetings and salutations. I am your friendly online doctor, Nicholas Singh. Today we'll be talking about vaccines. Are they safe? What are really contained in vaccines? And is the government trying to get us? All these questions and more will be answered. If you find this video useful, remember to like, share, and subscribe. But most of all, remember, your health comes first. Simply put, vaccines prevent specific infections. Simple. But why do vaccines need to prevent specific infections? Well, as usual, I'm going to lay a little foundation. So if vaccines prevent infections, then firstly we need to appreciate the importance of infections so that we can understand the importance of vaccines. Now, there are some infections that the immune system simply cannot handle by itself. And this is why you'll see certain diseases killing off thousands, hundreds, millions sometimes of people. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a world where every now and then hundreds, thousands of people would just start having sores breaking out on their skins and then eventually dying, right? And then in other cases you'll find people being paralyzed and thus there's no treatment for it because the damage has been done. And you know, if nerve tissues get damaged, then repairing that so quickly with our technology right now. And I mean, you can imagine people getting severe headaches and then dying from it, right? These things were actually real at one point, right? And so obviously they had to find a solution for the problem. Luckily, we're in a time where you don't have to consider some of these illnesses. For example, smallpox. Vaccines eradicated smallpox. It was in the late 1700s that Edward Jenner formally introduced vaccination. Now, simplistically, what he did was to use some of the material, like the scab or the pus from cowpox, and realized that if he made like a little scratch and then applied some of that onto the skin of a person, that they would develop immunity to smallpox, right? Now, when they recognized that this could be repeated and that the success rate was phenomenal, trust me, that spread like wildfire. And to be honest, it's because of that smallpox does not exist right now. It's probably in a lab somewhere, probably, but formally speaking, it's not in the general public, so that's great. So we don't have to worry about smallpox, which is why we don't get vaccinated against smallpox. Now, there are still some very dangerous diseases out there like polio. For example, polio is serious, right? Measles, mumps, rubella, all those things that we have all been vaccinated for and we are all safe, right? And we have not gotten in those type of infections. And because we're all immune to it, those infections cannot flourish. Even if there's one or two cases, we have doctors and surveillance teams always looking out vigilantly for these things. Let's talk about community immunity or herd immunity. And COVID-19 is a perfect example of what happens when a population is not immunized against a highly infectious and potentially fatal illness. Now, the infection started in China, and because nobody was immune to it, it spread, got to Italy and the Middle East thereabouts, spread, and then it got to the US, spread, and the Caribbean, spread, the entire world. And this is what happens when people are not immune to an illness, right? Now, let's say we were vaccinated against COVID-19, for argument's sake. Then what would happen is that, okay, maybe a few people would have got infected in China, okay, maybe one or two other cases here and there would have gotten, but it wouldn't have gotten to the scale that it is at right now, where the whole world is infected, right? And that is why I believe that vaccination will be the answer to COVID-19. It's in the development. It should be ready by the end of the year or early 2021. Now, I'm personally going to get vaccinated when it is been tested properly, of course. When these vaccines are ready, I'm not saying that they're going to make it mandatory, but if you think about it, if you are going to travel, I'm almost certain that they're going to require you to be vaccinated. And if you're going to go to school and work, for example, again, I'm certain that they're going to require evidence of vaccination. So in a sense, it might be mandatory. Now, I do understand that we're all free individuals and that no one can force you to take it, and there are measures that you can take to not receive the vaccinations. Yeah, so why don't we just all get vaccinated and call it a day? Well, remember, your health comes first, and this is a serious issue. It is actually your most important investment in life. And that is why people might be hesitant towards receiving vaccinations. Now, these fears and anxieties towards vaccinations are not unfounded, and I do appreciate them. These are just some of the reasons why people may refuse vaccination. One, it might be religious reasons. Two, it might be a lack of trust in the government, because it's not all the time that governments have done what's best for the people. Also, vaccination is not a perfect process. Things have gone wrong in the past. To make matters worse, the medical fraternity actually did a study that linked vaccination to autism at one point. Mark you, it was a faulty study and it was retracted, but that also did some damage. That the medical fraternity itself actually said that some vaccination cause autism. So yes, vaccines do prevent infections, but how does it actually do this? Let us use COVID-19 as an example. What we would have to do is to present the COVID-19 virus to the immune system in a weakened state, or use a piece of that organism, the COVID-19, and present it to the immune system. Now, you can look at the CDC website. They do have a lot of videos and information if you need further information, but there are also some alarming substances in it, and two that I'll mention is formaldehyde and mercury. There are some other substances in it as well, which you can check at your own leisure, please do. But do note that these are in very, very small amounts and will not harm the body. As a matter of fact, the body actually has those substances in it, believe it or not, right? So it's not that, oh, I'm going to put mercury inside my body, it's going to cause poisoning, etc. If that were the case, I mean, most populations that we are aware of are vaccinated, so come on. Most people would have been very ill and that type of thing, so that's not the case, right? Alright guys, so let's wrap this up. Now, COVID-19 is a problem. Vaccination seems to be the solution. And in the upcoming months, you'll have a decision to make whether you'll accept the vaccination or not. I hope that this video was able to shed some new perspective on this current health situation. And if that is the case, kindly like, subscribe and share. And my friends, until next time, peace be with you.